Alright. Hello guys, welcome, and if you've already seen my channel, welcome back. I'm the Philadelphia Whovian, and this is again my videos on my top 60 favorite classic Who episodes of Doctor Who. Now, if you want to know what the previous, because I'm doing a countdown from the 60 down to number 1, so you guys, if you want to see the previous episodes, because this video is going to be about number 20 through 11. So if you want to know the other ones, please watch those previous videos before I get down to this part of the list. I'm not going to do a recap because I want to jump right into the next ones. So, we're going to begin with a number 20. This is a story I cherish because I fought to get this story. I mean, I literally went on eBay every day to find a nice, good price for this story, hoping to beat someone else out of an eBay bid, or hope someone's going to sell their ones for cheap enough, less than, $30 would be nice. And I finally one day got it. Number 20 of my classic Who episodes, the Dalek Invasion of Earth. Okay, this is one of those episodes I was worried because I heard so much great things about this episode that I was like, okay, it can't, that's the problem. You hear so many good things about an episode, it can't live up to the hype. I think that was the problem I had in New Who, when I saw Dalek for the first time. There was so much hype behind it that I was like, okay, it helped, it makes things deflate that way. So that was my fear with Dalek Invasion of Earth. No! Dalek Invasion of Earth lived up to every single thing that is said about it. It is actually quite incredible. I can't get over how good it really was. And just the creativity behind it. Where you have, and one of my favorite moments, there's no dialogue. It's just, I think it's Barbara and the professor, or the guy who was making the bombs that had turned out not to work out, and then the other woman, they were they were rolling him through the streets and just running. It was just him running and running and running. It was such a good, great sequence. And I know you're gonna think to yourself, okay, come on, they're probably doing it for the padding time. I don't care. It was a great, good way of padding time. Very good way of padding time. And of course we get to the finally end where, Susan imparts with the Doctor, but more of the Doctor imparts with Susan, and his ending speech, which is timeless. I mean, oh God, one day I shall come back. Yes, one day I shall come back. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful send-off for Susan's character. Absolutely wonderful. I loved Barbara in this so much. I loved Ian in this so much. These two were spellbinding. Spellbinding is probably not even the word for it. They were just wonderful companions. I'm trying to think of anything else. The only thing I could be, I don't know if it's my cut, I don't know. But the only setback I had to this is I was so looking forward to when you saw the Daleks, gliding along on the bridge. I just didn't think that sequence was done for long enough. I saw them kind of, but I was like, oh, I want to get more shots. Like, do some really, really cool shots with them on the bridge. That'd be really fun. I just didn't think as much was done with that bridge sequence as it should have been. That's a super nitpick though, because that's a cool moment. You just want to see more of that cool moment. Okay? So, yes, my number 20 is the Dalek Invasion of Earth. Now we're at number 19 with the Third Doctor's very second story, the Silurians. This is another story I've heard things about, but I didn't hear that much about it, so there was no chance it was going to be overhyped. And this is another 7-parter. I never get bored because things keep getting added on, complications keep getting added to keep the story going and make it work very well. And I love the Brigadier, the way him and the Third Doctor work off each other, where it's like, he says to him, I can't remember if it was the Brigadier or if it was, I think it was what the Doctor said first. He said, so the Brigadier said, give me something I can work with. He said, well, you're not exactly a Sherlock Holmes, are you? And then Brigadier said, come along, Dr. Watson. I love that sort of dynamic, I really do. And the Silurians, I know technically speaking the correct term is Eocenes, but they were a great villain. The idea of them using diseases and infecting a lot of Britain well, it just had a lot of complications were compiled on top of each other that made them work. I freaking loved the Silurians so very much. One of the stronger parts of the... Actually, all the parts of the Third Doctor's first season were strong. Sorry, that was a stupid comment I was about to make. Now we're at number 18. Okay, this is a story that I've never seen on almost any other top 10 or favorite list except for mine. The Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Why is this not more loved? I don't care that the special effects are not the best. From that time period, this was fine, okay? The story is absolutely remarkable. This story is incredible. Again, another long story that I never get bored watching. This is such a great story. What's wrong with it? Why do people... I don't see why. I just feel like it gets overlooked way too much. Or the people at the special effects get in the way of noticing the story. I think the story itself is a very good one. I really do think it is. Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Also, I never get sick of watching it. Ever. Alright, so I think, are we now at 17? Yes, I think we're at 17. And here we go back again with the Fourth Doctor with Leela. Is it obvious that I absolutely love Leela, and why it's also obvious that she is my number 1 on my top 10 companions list? If you saw my top 10 companions list, now you know why she's my number 1. Because of all the way she was and how I liked her in the story she was in. And one of my favorite ones is the horror of Fang Rock. I actually get scared watching this story. I actually get very terrified watching it. It's just so... It's creepy. The lighthouse, oh, it feels so creative. It's absolutely frightening. I mean, it really is. But I like how the Doctor and Leela are in it when they're dealing with all the people who are in this lighthouse. And just Leela slaps the woman for shouting and then says to the guy, listen to the Doctor, or like, listen to him, whatever she says. And she's like, or I will gut you. And Forrest just smiles and says, you heard her. I said this before on my top 10 Fourth Doctor list. I just love that moment. I know I'm repeating myself, but I love it. What can you do? Okay, so I think are we now at number 25? Sorry, not number 25, I'm sorry, number 15? I'm making sure, I think we're 16. We're at 16, now I remember 16. And back to the Second Doctor with Jamie and Zoe. The Seeds of Death. Guys, the Ice Warriors. I just love the Ice Warriors. And again, with this story, I'm not bored. I never get bored once the action just keeps on continuing. Well, at the same time, I'm not like a person who needs action all the time, but I gotta make sure that the pacing is still going. And Seeds of Death is so wonderful. I like seeing the Ice Warriors again. I love Jamie, love Zoe. I also like seeing how they use Zoe. They did. Zoe's intelligence was put to good use again. I like when they do that. It works so well for me. Yes, but the Seeds of Death, I like the way it was shot, the way it was written, the way it was directed, the way it was acted. I like the Seeds of Death so very much. Just a great story. I think now we're at number 15. At number 15, we have, again, the Doctor with Leela. The Robots of Death. Now this, I think I'm not strange for this being high on my list. I think this is regarded as a classic. The Robots of Death. I never get sick of watching this story. I never do. It's so creative. You know, just with the whodunit side of things. But the characters are all fleshed out while this whodunit is going on. And then it turns out Leela is right to trust her gut feelings about things so often. She can find the Doctor through her gut feelings. She feels like something is wrong. And she turns out to be right about this very often. I like that about... I'm sorry, but I enjoy stuff like that. So yes, my number 15, The Robots of Death. Now, my number 14, again, another episode that doesn't get on almost any top 10 list, but I don't understand why. The Third Doctor with Joe Grant, The Carnival of Monsters. This is another episode I never get sick of watching, and I feel like Robert Holmes just let his creative flags just go to town with this. He went mad with creativity with this story. It is just so wonderful to me of this rotoscope or whatever type of scope it is, and having all these different, things trapped inside of it, interacting with each other, and how he can change the attitude and behavior of people in this story. They can become aggressive, then passive, then peaceful, then angry. It is so wonderful. Such a creative idea. And I think I want to say it's the Basilosaurus. That's this monster. I think the effects were great for that time period. Oh my god, I think this story is just pure genius. And there was this one time I saw this one person who reviewed a collection he got where he had the Carnival of Monsters. I think it was Revisitations. I think that was the set over in the UK. In the UK, it's called Revisitations. That's and they have a few of those. But in this one, it had Carnival of Monsters, The Seeds of Death, and Resurrection of the Daleks. And he just talked about the Seeds of Death because he thought it was greatly superior to Carnival of Monsters and Resurrection of the Daleks, which he thought were very much inferior and not very good at all. I don't know how you could think Carnival of Monsters is inferior in any way to anything. It's so good to me. I just think it deserves it. 14, Carnival of Monsters. And now for number 13. We have back down to the first Doctor with Ian and Barbara and Susan, the Aztecs. This is a funny story for me because the Aztecs, when I first purchased it, I was torn between buying this or buying the Ark. And my first instinct was to buy the Ark. Because I was like, the Aztecs, I don't see how the heck Doctor Who could do the Aztecs justice. I don't know how they could make it work. Especially in the first season, which they didn't have all the budget that they needed. I don't know how they could make this story possibly good. Ye of little faith. The Aztecs was fantastic. This is, in my opinion, the best of the histories. Something about it I absolutely love. It's the perfect length. It's 4 episodes. That's what probably helps it. It's 4 episodes. It's all you need. It was very well done for what it was. We're also with Barbara realizing she can't change anything, and her desire to change history just got kind of like flew back in her face. It all just fell apart around her, and that was an important lesson for Barbara to learn. But I feel for all these characters, I really do, and I like Kamika and her connection and chemistry with the first Doctor. For those people who do not remember Kamika, she was the woman in her 50s who fell in love with the Doctor. I loved it because it just didn't feel stupid to me, and also I could tell, I saw them bond. I saw them connect before she began to fall head over heels crazy in love with him. I do. I just like how it all unfolded. The Aztecs, there's a reason why it is very good. Number 13, I believe, is my slot. Now, number 12. I don't have this story, but boy, do I love it. Because also, again, it's so expensive. So, number 12, we would have, the DVD right here, The Romans. Another history that I absolutely love and never get bored watching it. And also I love how they all look so good in the Roman garb. The story is fun, it's scary, it's intriguing, it's comical, it does everything it needs to do. Again, very well directed film. Very well directed episode and story. I absolutely love it. I wish to God I owned it so badly. But I don't. Because it's so bloody wanking expensive. Gobbledygook. Sorry. Now we got number 11. Back to the third Doctor with Jo Grant in her very last episode, The Green Death. I think I put this in my top 10 list in the third Doctor stories. The maggots are so scary. Oh, like the one time I saw the maggot crawling towards Jo when her back was turned and she was like reading the book. Oh my God. It was absolutely terrifying. But again, the pacing of the story, the boss with the computer, caught a night, caught a night, caught a night, caught a night, and then with the guy destroying his creation after all of this hell that he wreaked havoc on, and then the idea of pollution, but it doesn't beat you over the head with the message of pollution with this story. It just does it enough to make you really enjoy it. I had fun with it. And then the Green Death, with how they made the Green Death look on these people, oh, it was so, the effects were really well done, spot on there. I absolutely loved the Green Death. It was just disgusting. It was action-packed. It was compelling. It was frightening, comical, horrifying. It did everything a Doctor Who story needs to do without beating me over the head with its message. It gave the message just enough. Okay, so thank you guys for watching this next video, and then my next video is going to be of my top 10. Yes, we have reached the top 10. You were awesome for making it this far. Let's see how this last one goes. See you guys very soon. Peace out.